Hola, YouTube. It is I, Life is Mine. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Well, basically, the Wii U is officially dead. It has been confirmed by Nintendo that the Breath of the Wild, awesome-looking Zelda game that's coming out will be the last first-party game released, and basically, there might be some, like, trickle-down, games coming or whatnot. But basically, the Wii U is dead, and I thought, what better way to celebrate its awesome library and life than a top 10 list. I actually went a little bit above and beyond, and I did a top 15 list, because I couldn't actually narrow it down to just 10, because there's so many good games on the console. Without further ado, let's take a look at what made the Wii U, and maybe you'll find some games that you've never even heard of before. 15. First up on our list is Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which is one of my favorite games on the Wii U. Now basically this game is extremely colorful, it's a lot of fun, and it is probably one of the most interesting and unique experiences that I would take away from the Wii U. Mainly how it works is that you're using the gamepad the entire time to make these, loops and curves and all this stuff to guide Kirby through this world. You have to tap to attack enemies, you gotta curve around to get all these things, you gotta get the 1-ups and do all that stuff. There's also 2 and 3 and 4 player co-ops, so everybody can go around and help up Kirby, so that's pretty sweet. So as you saw, there's a lot of strategy involved with this game. You have to basically, stop the water to get stuff, you have to cut off lasers, you can use amiibo with this game. I love this game so much. As you progress, you get power-ups and new kinds of weapons and armor and things like that. I'm not really a big Kirby guy, but I think this is probably one of the best Kirby games I have ever played in all of my life. 14. On to number 14, and this one is going to be one of my favorite horror games ever. This is actually Zombie U on the Wii U. Yeah, I know what you're probably saying. Zombie U is some bullshit and it sucks and it got a bunch of really bad reviews when it came out. Oh, it looks terrible and all this stuff. But the thing is that Zombie U does pretty well. It puts you in a state of terror, unlike anything that I have experienced before. On this level, because as you can see here in this trailer, you have to use the gamepad to take shots, to crack codes. You have to go and use the gamepad to get in, how to get into your health packs and things like that. You scavenge bodies. That's how you, get weapons and things like that. So you can do all your inventory management from the gamepad. And the craziest thing about all of this is that the game doesn't actually pause while you're in the gamepad. So as you, swipe up to go into your inventory or to pick a door or do something like that, you are in real time. So zombies can attack you, monsters can keep coming after you and things like that. And one of the best things that I enjoyed about Zombie U was the sense of urgency, the just completely feeling alone and stranded. The world is very scary and terrifying. Remember just being completely lost in this game and just being hunted and looking and surviving and trying to make your best that you can in this world that is just completely just ravaged by zombies in the outbreak. Now, it's probably not one of the best zombie games ever made, but it is extremely interesting, and I really thought this game showed off the ability of the Wii U, and it really had shown everyone a new way to play, not only games, but a horror game as well, and I just really loved Zombie U a whole bunch, and I really think that when they brought it over to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you lost a little bit of this charm, because you didn't have to look at the second screen to survive. Number 13. Number 13 on our list is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. Okay, I know that is a mouthful, but yeah, this game actually is the crossover between Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei, and I love this game for several reasons. I'm a huge Fire Emblem guy. I also really like the SMT games, and I think this game really bridged both of those worlds together in this really unique story. You have your Fire Emblem characters like Chrom and all these other characters come into the world to save you and help you. And you're this guy running around the world traversing dungeons to take down these mirages that are basically stealing like souls from everyone. So it's very dark and decrepit, like the Persona games and the Shin Megami Tensei games are. And I absolutely love the active time battle system in this game. It's very flashy, it's very colorful, but it's not very complicated. If you're used to battle systems with drop-down menus, basically attacks, skills, things like that, you'll be able to play this game and enjoy it a whole bunch. And one of the reasons I love this game so much is that I love active time systems in RPGs, and I think it's kind of a lost art with current RPGs. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 15 and a whole bunch of other games that are coming out, and we're going more action based. But this game, it really is subtle in bringing back the parts of old RPGs that we used to love from yesteryear, and putting on this really flashy, over-the-top type of presentation. Now, it looks like there's a whole bunch of shit going on the screen right now, but I mean, it's like you're just selecting from menus, and these attacks are just so ridiculous and big, and I love this game so much. One of the best RPGs on the Wii U. 12. Next up is a portable Resident Evil game that was ported to the Wii U, and that is Resident Evil Revelations. I absolutely love the Resident Evil franchise, and this game specifically was one of my favorite 3DS titles, and to bring it over to my home console with my gamepad and play with two screens like I did on my 3DS, but on my television and on the gamepad with this game was fantastic. Basically, it brought all the best parts from the 3DS version to the home console, big and beautiful on your television. Now, it did have some jaggies and things like that because it was a portable game that was brought up. But yeah, I mean, you could play this game on your TV. It had supported off TV play and things like that. And I really just absolutely love how they filled in a lot of the gaps from the Resident Evil franchise with this title. And it stars one of my favorite gaming heroines of all time, which is Jill Valentine. There's a lot of quirky things you can do with Miiverse, and you can make zombies say stuff, and you can put in death codes and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, Jill sandwich and all stuff after you die, But I mean, Resident Evil Revelations is fantastic. The Wii U version actually brought on the Inferno mode, which is ridiculously hard. And Resident Evil Revelations on Wii U is fantastic. 11. Switching gears here, the next game on our list is going to be Pikmin 3. I'm a huge Pikmin fan. I loved Pikmin ever since the GameCube. One of my favorite parts of it was these little guys that you can just throw and make them do all this stuff. It's like Lemmings meets adventuring and all this kind of stuff, and it's fantastic. Pikmin 3 is actually one of the most beautiful games on the Wii U. It utilizes just over-the-top amazing aesthetics and just the way the little Pikmin creatures work around the world and the way they blow up walls and beat up bad guys and all stuff like that. We also get some rock Pikmin and a whole bunch of new types of things, so now you got glass walls to deal with and all this stuff like that. So if you've ever played Pikmin before, you'll love this game. However, one of the big problems with it is that there is no time limit again. The first two Pikmin games had a really cool time element that forced you. It was like a night and day thing that you couldn't, be on the planet at night and things like that. Pikmin 3 is a little bit more casual because you don't have to get off the planet in a certain amount of time and find your ships in a certain amount of days and things like that. You can pretty much play Pikmin at your own pace, as fast or as slow as you want to. Yeah, there's also some new characters in the game too. We're not just dealing with Olimar. He's got some other guys coming to look for him and things like that. But yeah, Pikmin 3 is one of the most beautiful games on the Wii U. If you've never played it, I highly recommend picking this guy up because it is absolutely fantastic. Back to some horror goodness here. We got Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater on Wii U, which is actually Fatal Frame 5. This game is wonderful. In all of the games that came out on Wii U, it was very, very, very slim and light on horror titles, and this one is actually an exclusive that never came to any other console. The game is very creepy, and if you've ever played the Fatal Frame games before, basically you go around the world with a camera obscura, and you're fighting ghosts by taking pictures of them, but as you can see here, you use the gamepad to do this. Now, it can get a little, over the top because you constantly are flipping up the Wii U gamepad like the camera obscura, which is a very cool effect. But at the same time, if you don't want to do that, you can turn it off, so don't worry about that. But Fatal Frame 5 was never released physically in North America, excuse me. So you can only buy this game digitally from the eShop, and it is quite a hefty, will take up your hard drive. But if you're into horror games, if you're into Fatal Frame, it was basically a return to the franchise, because in the States we never even got Fatal Frame 4. So it was good to see some good old horror return on the Wii U. Number 9. Next up, we got Splatoon. I absolutely love Splatoon, people. The game is very colorful. Basically, if you don't know what Splatoon is, it's a competitive online shooter Basically, Nintendo rewrote the book on what a competitive online shooter looks like. If you ever played Gears, if you ever played Call of Duty, if you've ever played, I don't know, Uncharted or Tomb Raider or anything like that, it's gonna be gloomy, it's gonna be doomy, and you're just killing people and destroying them and blowing up stuff, and everybody's getting mad and talking shit and stuff all the time. But this game, it's very colorful, as you can see. You're these squid-like creatures known as Inkling, and the entire point of the game is to, in each match, it takes about 3 minutes, you want to cover the entire map with colored paint, and whoever has the most paint on the ground at the end of it wins. It doesn't matter how many times you splat the team, there's no death match in Splatoon. I do hope to see that in the next iteration of Splatoon 2 that's coming out on the Switch. But, they did add a whole lot of extra modes, actually. There's a tower, capture the tower, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds of stuff. You have to get, like, the glowfish to your side of the map and things like that. But Splatoon, it's just Nintendo showcasing what Nintendo does best. They take a concept of a game that people know and love, and then they completely rewrite the book on it, and people will never look at competitive online shooters the same. Splatoon is just really big and colorful. And I just love playing this game so much, and I'm glad that this game has done fairly well for Nintendo, that we will be seeing much more of this beautiful game. And one of my favorite platformers on the Wii U is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I love this game so much. It reminds me back on the Super Nintendo for the Donkey Kong Country games. It's hard, it's amazing, and this time around you're not just Donkey and Diddy, or Donkey and Dixie, or Diddy and Dixie, or even just Donkey and Cranky. That's right, you can actually have all 4 of the Kongs help out at once. So, the main player, you're always going to be Donkey, but then yeah, you could, get help from Diddy Kong, and he's got his jetpacks, or you can get some help from Cranky, and he's got a really cool pogo bounce that reminds me of Shovel Knight, or, Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. But yeah, if you've ever played any of the Donkey Kong platforming games, this game just takes you right back to Super Nintendo and just makes it so much better. I mean, this game is just big, it's beautiful, the stages are so memorable, and it's the perfect mix of new school and old school, which I always love from Nintendo, because they are a company that always remembers and will continue to remind us of their heritage and how long they've been around making games. And this game, it just shows that, oh, if you've ever played Donkey Kong Country 3, here's some Easter eggs for you in here, because Dixie Kong's here, and a lot of the levels and things like that are similar. It feels like Donkey Kong Country, which is very cool, even though it's not the original developer that used to make the Donkey Kong games back in the day. But if you're looking for a really hard, really awesome, colorful platformer on the Wii U, you can't go wrong with Donkey Kong. 7. Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U is amazing. You can't go wrong with cat suits and all of your friends like Luigi and Peach and Toad. I consider this game the sequel to Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES, actually, because you got all 4 of the friends back here together, and this game has 4-player co-op, which is just fantastic. It's a 3D meets 2D game design, and this is one of the best Mario games I've ever played, honestly. If you ever played Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, this is actually a direct sequel to that game, but it's even bigger and better on the Wii U, and it showcases a lot of challenge, which is really why I love this game so much. It's the closest thing that we got to a 3D Mario game, and it's awesome. If you're a fan of platformers, or if you're a fan of Mario, and if you're a fan of, really colorful, awesome games like this, you can't go wrong with Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. It's gorgeous, and it's so much fun to play with friends. Yeah, but you also get the double Marios. Oh man, yeah, cloning Mario. This is ridiculous. So when you get some of these cherries, you get clones, and that's the best thing about this game, especially when you're playing with 4 people and there's all these cherries, and there's just like, you don't know who's who, and you're all running around killing stuff, and then your clones are dying, and you're like, how many of me's are there? And it gets ridiculous. But yeah, it's a really cool feature that is in Super Mario 3D World. 6. Alright, so the next game on my list is the wonderful 101. I love this game, even though everybody else in the world seems to really hate this game. I think it was one of the most intuitive and unique ideas to come to the Wii U. Basically, you take charge of a whole bunch of superheroes, and you basically have to turn other people, everyday people, you know, bartenders and cops and plumbers and comic book, you know, collectors and things like that, and you turn them into heroes. So basically how it works is on the gamepad, you have to draw circles, you know, for bombs or lines for swords. You have to draw a circle for the hand and things like that. And the mix between challenge and over-the-top action and just how the presentation of this game is fantastic. It's one of the best games in the world, in my opinion. I think it was so challenging and just so unique. You know, if you drew if you drew a short sword, you know, it would draw a little sword. If you drew a really long sword, the sword would be even bigger and be even more powerful. There was a whole bunch of heroes that each had a unique skill set to them. You know, this guy he was the gun guy. There was the sword guy. The main guy, he had the power fist. There's a girl who has a whip, and you have to draw like a snake or an S. This game is just absolutely fun, and it didn't really, you know, it wasn't really received that well when it came out. A lot of people said it was really hard, and it was kind of just not, it wasn't received. People just didn't know what it was or how to play it and things like that, because you really do have to look at the TV and then really quickly go down on the gamepad and, you know what you're drawing, because sometimes, you know, you'll be drawing a whip and you'll get a sword and you didn't want that, or you wanted a bomb instead of a fist or something like that, and the game moves really fast. So, you know, you really have to, you know, get these shapes down. You know, they said that you should play with a stylus. I recommend just doing it with your finger if you're going to be trying this game out. You know, you can get your swords and your fists and your bombs pretty well. Just make sure you're drawing really big shapes when you're doing this, because if not, if you're drawing little tiny ones, then the game's not going to really pick up what you're doing, and it's just going to, you know, you're going to get frustrated at the end of the day. And I think that's what happened with this game, is a lot of people just got frustrated by its challenge and the way you have to play the game. But it is one of the most unique experiences you will have on the system.
I got 5 on it.
From platinum to gold, we have Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. One of my favorite games of all time. If you're not familiar with Bayonetta, she is a beautiful witch who just kills everything in her path. Basically, she's torturing angels and demons, and she's just gonna make everyone pay. Bayonetta 2 picks up where Bayonetta 1 left off. Bayonetta is more experienced. You can see her hair is shorter this time around. But yeah, the game is fast, fluid, and, you know, one of the biggest things that people were afraid of with Bayonetta coming to a Nintendo console is that Bayonetta is not afraid to be Bayonetta. She's sexy, and she's vulgar, and she's loud, and she swears, and all this kind of stuff, and the game is very violent and graphic, and Nintendo wasn't afraid to go and let Bayonetta be who Bayonetta is. So I was really impressed, you know, that Nintendo opened up their catalog and their, you know, their audience to welcome a game like Bayonetta 2 on their console. And Bayonetta 2 is actually, it is one of the best games you will play on Wii U, in my opinion. It is such a joy to play. It's fast, it's furious, it's Bayonetta 4. Next up is Mario Kart 8. I absolutely adore everything about Mario Kart 8, except for the battle mode, which has been fixed on the Switch. They're going to be re-releasing this game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the biggest, best, and prettiest titles on the Wii U. And just this game, just playing this game and memorizing the courses and just getting everything down is such a joy to play. You can play with a 4-player split screen, 2-player split screen if you don't have 4 buddies laying around or hanging around. I don't know why you'd have buddies laying around, but if you do, I don't know why they're there. But yeah, I mean, this game is just awesome. There's so many characters to choose from. The worlds are just so memorable and big and wonderful. And then they've actually remade a whole bunch of courses from other Mario games, so Mario Kart games. So you'll see some stuff from the Wii, you'll see some stuff from the Game Boy Advance, you'll see, you know, levels from Mario Kart Double Dash and things like that. And I think that's what stands out the most in this game, besides the zero-G wall jumping and hang gliding and all these things. That was one of the coolest aspects to Mario Kart 8. Really blew people's minds when the game came out, because, you know, you can stick to walls, the course will just loop around in a circle. You really kind of lose control of where you are. Sometimes you'll just, as you saw there, just zooms right into a wall. The game is fantastic, awesome. Anytime you have the tires spinning like that, it's in 0G mode, so you can hit other people to boost in that mode. But the game is awesome, and I can't recommend Mario Kart 8 enough. One of the best racers. It's probably one of the best car racers of all time, and would have been if it wasn't for that terrible battle mode that we got on Wii U. But, you know, if you're looking for that, it's coming out on the Switch in April.
Oh man, are we on 3?
What would a top 10 be without Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U? I absolutely love Smash Bros. In general, and I think Smash Bros. For the Wii U is one of the best iterations of the acclaimed fighting franchise. It has so many characters, it's so big, it is just absolutely a fun game to play. If you've ever played Smash before, you know how it works. You beat up your guys, you smash them off the side of the world, and you win. And this game has just so many characters. And you can play 8-player Smash, and the game just runs flawlessly. I've never had any stutters or hiccups or anything like that when I'm playing with 8 people. You can literally hook up 8 controllers to this console and play with everybody. Another cool aspect is amiibo characters. So if you have some, you know, if you get Link amiibo or Villager or Samus amiibo, you can train them and level them up in the game and play as them. You can go online to play people across the world. The game also came out on the 3DS, so you know there was a little bit of transference between the two titles. So you can, if you made a character on Wii, you can put them on 3DS and vice versa, and you can train your characters on the go with you on the 3DS if you had one. But you know, I always consider the 3DS version kind of like a side version to the Wii U main game. This game is amazing. What else can you say about the Smash Bros. Except that it is smashing your bros all over the place, and it is one of the best awesome games you could play on the Wii U. It's fantastic in every sense of the term. So much fun, so much content, so much awesomeness. Number 2 on our list, we have The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD. I loved Wind Waker when it came out on the GameCube, and it was one of my favorite Zelda games of all time at that point. And I was really excited for when they were announcing that they were going to be remaking it for the Wii U and actually changing a whole bunch of stuff to it as well. The core game itself is still here, but they've actually made a lot of things better where you don't have to worry about getting Triforce charts, you know, translated by Tingle and all this stuff like that. But you know, the game looks significantly better on the Wii U as well. And I really think this is a perfect game for the Wii U. If you've never had a chance to play it on the GameCube, I highly recommend picking it up and experiencing this timeless legend. Another big additive that they added to the Wii U version is that you could control the boat anywhere now. On the GameCube, you actually had to use the Wind Waker to set sail, and you had to, you know, play the song and go north, or play the song and go south, play the song over and over again. The Wii U version, you can actually get a swift sail from the auction house and just sail as you please. So if you never played Wind Waker on the GameCube, highly recommend it on Wii U.
Number 1.
In first place, we have Super Mario Maker on the Wii U. Alright, so if you didn't think this was going to be my number 1 game, then I don't know, because this game actually lets you make Mario levels, play infinite Mario levels, and just, it's amazing. You can literally, there's been so much content they've added to this game. It is literally endless what you can do. Add so many different enemies, and you know, create warp pipes to get to different kinds of levels. They've even created you know, the Boo House in the NES modes and things like that. There was no Boo House on the NES, you know, in the NES Mario in the original release. I mean, I've played so many levels online where, you know, you're just fighting hundreds of Bowsers, or I've had people recreate, you know, the first part of Metroid, or I've had people recreate whole levels of Mega Man 2. The community for Super Mario Maker is what makes it so special. Sure, you're gonna have your troll levels and things like that, but I mean, the amount of content that Nintendo put into making this title is just fantastic. I mean, I never thought in a million years I would be able to play a game like this on a Nintendo console. You know, you really feel like you're creating your own worlds within, the laws of Mario and things like that. which is one of the best platformers of all time. And I can't say enough good things about Super Mario Maker. They've also just recently released it on the 3DS, but I believe the Wii U version is the best version because you can play it online and download a ton of awesome levels, which you cannot do on the 3DS. Alright guys, that was my top 15 Wii U games of all time. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Was there some games on here that you didn't see? Let me know some of your favorite games. You know, I know there's a lot of games on here that I didn't get a chance to get to, like Xenoblade Chronicles and the Spider-Man games, and a bunch of really cool, interesting titles that have come out on the Nintendo's last console. But you know what? It's the Wii U. It is what it is. I mean, you know, I thought these were the best games. These are just my opinion. Basically, I based my entire list off of what brought something unique to the console, and I hope you guys enjoyed it today. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Oh, and one last note. Probably Breath of the Wild will be my #1 Wii U game when that comes out. It's not out yet at this time. So basically just move everything back a slot. Kirby will be off the list, and Mario will be #2, and, you know, Zelda will be #1. But at this time, I haven't played the game. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but I don't want to just put it in there. But thank you for hanging out with me today, guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you for hanging out, liking the videos, commenting, subscribing, all that kind of stuff like that. Appreciate you more than you'll ever know, and I'll see you next time.